Hey guys, come on downstairs. We are playing a little flight simulator here today. We're continuing our tour of the United States, checking out sports venues, and today we are going to move to Arizona. We're going to start in Albuquerque, where we left off in our New Mexico episode, and we're going to head due west, pretty much, to Flagstaff, Arizona. So I'm trying to make this video while I'm watching my kids, so if you hear kids screaming in the background, my apologies. If it gets too out of control, I will stop and re-record. So we are in the Cessna Citation. We're going to take a night flight from Albuquerque to Flagstaff. It's our first night flight of this series. And we are off the ground on our way to Flagstaff, Arizona. Check out the sports venues in the state of Arizona. There's a few of them. A few more in Arizona than there was in New Mexico, including several pro sports teams, of course. There were no pro sports venues in New Mexico for us to check out, but there will be several in Arizona. You can see we're about 243 miles away from Flagstaff. As we climb out of Albuquerque here. And as always, I just give you an abbreviated version of the long flights. So this was my first night flight in Flight Simulator. I love the roads. It looks like every single road is packed with cars waiting to get into the Field of Dreams. It's not super realistic. Don't think there's that many people traveling the freeway between Flagstaff and Albuquerque, if there is a freeway that goes between the two. Outside of the roads, the rest of the scenery looks pretty cool at night. Alright, we're about halfway through, a little bit past the halfway point of this flight. 107 miles away from Flag. So up to this point, all I've done is VFR flying. Most of the emphasis has been on sightseeing venues and stuff, but I've been starting to figure out this Flight Simulator 2020 thing. I've played a lot of Flight Simulator back in the day, and I had that all figured out with a keyboard and stuff. It's a little bit more difficult with the Xbox controller because you obviously don't have as many keys as you do on a keyboard, so it takes a little bit more manual, like point and click at the instruments and stuff. Just a little bit more difficult. Alright, 32 miles outside of Flag.
Albuquerque Center 25th Street is at flight level 390, descending 10,000.
And we are down to 11,000 feet. Flagstaff off to our right as we turn into it. The mountain there that you see on the horizon is the mountain just above Flagstaff. So we'll land in Flagstaff here, and then our flight around Arizona will be in the morning, I guess we should say. So in the morning we will fly around Arizona, but right now we're just getting ourselves there from New Mexico. Try to contact Flagstaff here and let them know of our intentions to land.
Flagstaff Tower, Cessna 7 Charlie Oscar Lima 18 is 16 miles east, 11,200 feet with Quebec to land.
Cessna 7 Charlie Oscar Lima 18 Flagstaff Tower. Altimeter tree 0.15 with calm fly left base runway 21.
Fly left base runway 21 Cessna Lima 18.
I do not have my altimeter set correctly. I didn't know what the heck I was doing here. I'm not gonna lie, I was actually super lucky to even find the airport. I was a little bit lost in this night flight. But we come into Flagstaff here, and I'm just turning left here to try to avoid the mountain and maybe get a look at the city, and somehow I just somehow ended up lined up with the runway, which was I wasn't expecting that. I didn't realize that the runway was this close. But that was a nice little view of Flagstaff at night. And there you see the runway off in the distance. I mean, I should have known it was there from my instruments and stuff, but I wasn't really looking at it or looking for it at this point. I was kind of occupied with checking out the city and not hitting the mountain. But you can tell my GPS is wanting me to turn left up in the top left corner. Alright, so we're cleared to land.
Cleared to land runway 21 Cessna Lima 18.
I think when we get to some of the Midwestern states, we'll throw some weather in the mix on some of these flights between states and do some ILS landings and stuff like that. Extend some flaps. As we come in for our first night landing of this series in Flagstaff, Arizona. So far my kids have been pretty quiet. I'll take that. Was not expecting to get this far into this video without having some type of interruption. So you can tell I need all the landing practice I can get at this point. Slowly getting better at it. Haven't crashed yet in this series though. So far so good. And we have touchdown. Alright, we're on the ground in Flagstaff. Up next, we'll change planes. And take more of a sightseeing friendly plane. And let's look at this leg of our journey. We're going to start off in Flagstaff, checking out the Northern Arizona campus. Then we'll head south down to the Valley of the Sun. Let's zoom in a little bit here. We're going to check out Arizona Cardinals in Glendale. Also, the Arizona Coyotes are in Glendale. I messed up this graphic. So it's just the Suns and the Diamondbacks that are right in Phoenix. And then we'll go to Tempe, check out Arizona State, and then head south to Tucson and check out the University of Arizona. So we've changed planes now. We're in a more sightseeing friendly aircraft. The Cirrus. And we are in the air in Flagstaff. So when I chose this airplane, I had no idea that the wings had flowers on them. But we're okay with that. We'll deal with it. Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Alright, let's find the city. I think we're going to have to make kind of a U-turn here and head back towards the mountain behind us. And there is the city. So if you ever see a trivia question or anything like that that asks, does it snow regularly in Arizona? The answer is yes, it does in Flagstaff. Actually driven through Flagstaff once with good amount of slush on the road from a snowstorm. Northern Arizona Lumberjacks in Flagstaff, Arizona. My cousin graduated from NAU with a degree in business. And we're going to check out the Walk-Up Sky Dome. And I believe that's the home of both NAU's football and basketball teams. I think they also play basketball in Walk-Up Sky Dome. If I'm not mistaken, I could be. So we get a good look at that. And then we will head south and say our goodbyes to Flagstaff for the episode. So we're going to start coming down off the mountain. And then we'll speed up this flight down to the Valley of the Sun in just a minute here. So we're getting a little bit further south down off the mountain. It's starting to look more like the desert that most of Arizona is. And we're almost halfway through this video without any interruption from kids. That's pretty much a miracle. Alright, just below us, down in the foothills of the Flagstaff Mountains, is Sedona, Arizona. And just as I spoke, both my kids came running out of their bedrooms. But I'm back now. We'll try to finish this thing off. Alright, Sedona, Arizona. They have kind of a cool airport down on that plateau you can kind of see just off of the S. And a lot of the Microsoft Flight Simulator training videos are done in Sedona. Alright, we'll speed up this flight. My little boy's in the room with me now. So if he makes any noise, I apologize. But we're going to speed up this flight towards the Valley of the Sun. So as we saw on the map, we're going to come into Glendale first. That's on the far west side of the Phoenix metro area. We're getting a little bit closer. It's a rare lake in Arizona. I looked up the name of that lake. I can't remember what it was. I'm not even going to try to guess. But it's not Lake Havasu, in case you're wondering. All right. We are into the metro area. We're actually over the top of Sun City right now, coming into Glendale, where we will see the venues of the Arizona Coyotes and the Arizona Cardinals. And both of their venues are out here on the west side of town, kind of on the outskirts. Looks like it's a little bit hazy. Can't remember. I might have done this flight on real world weather. I don't remember. Or maybe it's just where the sun is. Alright, State Farm Stadium, home of the Arizona Cardinals. Dead ahead. And y'all, if you're sports fans, are pretty familiar with that stadium. It used to be University of Phoenix Stadium. And then the Gila River Arena is just off of the left foot of the Coyote up there. So we get a look at both of these venues as we cruise through Glendale on our way to Phoenix. Still says University of Phoenix Stadium on the roof of State Farm Stadium. And the Gila River Arena in the background. I know Arizona's in kind of a tough spot with their venue, and there's some fear that they might end up having to leave Arizona, which would be disappointing, I think. Of course, they originally came to Arizona from Winnipeg, and that was disappointing to begin with, but now Winnipeg has their jets back. Okay, we're heading east. The skyline of the city starting to become visible off on the horizon. The downtown area of Phoenix. We'll zip ahead a little bit here as we get closer. Check out the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Phoenix Suns arena, which are on the east side, southeast side of the downtown area. So obviously still morning here as we are heading straight into the sun, going pretty much due east. So Phoenix, Arizona, Phoenix Suns, Arizona Diamondbacks. The Suns are really good this season, and the Diamondbacks were really, really bad this season. This past season. Who knows if there will be a next baseball season. We'll see. As the owners have locked out the players at this point. Hopefully they'll get something done. Who knows? Maybe COVID wrecks it anyway. I don't know. Alright, both venues are ahead of us. I think what we're going to do here, we fly by them pretty quickly. I think we'll make kind of a U-turn and come back and hit them from the other side. But there's a good look at them right there. Can also see Camelback Mountain off in the distance, out towards Scottsdale. At one point I was going to do golf courses in this series, and I think I do one in Southern California just because we happen to fly over it. But I decided against that. We've already got enough on our plate with all of the sports teams' venues. Maybe the golf courses will be a series of their own. Alright, Chase Field, home of the Diamondbacks. And then Footprint Center, home of the Phoenix Suns. Right downtown in Phoenix. I've never been, but actually I take that back. I have been downtown in Phoenix once, because I remember driving right past the baseball stadium, but that was back when it was called Bank One Ballpark, the Bob. I still have a hard time not calling it the Bob. So that was back in the early 2000s that I drove through downtown Phoenix with some friends. My friend's dad had a house in Scottsdale that we would come down to on spring break, hang out, go play golf. Took some girls down there once when we were in college, which was a huge mistake. We ended up not getting along with them very well. And most of the time they went and did their thing and we did our thing, which was all good. Alright, let's head east towards Tempe, Arizona and Arizona State. Alright, this is Tempe up ahead, home of the Arizona State Sun Devils. I think I told the story in one of my episodes several years ago in MVP 06 NCAA baseball, of the time that we were down in Arizona for spring break and we all bought ASU baseball caps. We went to Hard Rock Cafe all wearing them, and some kid thought we were baseball players. And he wanted us to sign something. So we took the papers that Hard Rock Cafe puts on the placemats or whatever, and we signed those and gave them to the kid. And then the waitress came up to us and was like, "Yeah, those are like $10 each to take." I mean, come on, $10 for a piece of paper. Anyway. There's Sun Devil Stadium and Desert Financial Arena, home of the Arizona State Sun Devils. Alright, let's head down to Tucson now. A little bit southeast is the direction we're heading. Straight into the sun. So we're going to go down to Tucson. We're going to check out University of Arizona venues. We'll speed up that flight here as we get out of the city. And actually into some farmland in between Phoenix and Tucson. I don't know what they're growing there. But we head down through the desert to Tucson, and then from Tucson I decided we're going to head over to Southern California. So we go from Tucson to San Diego, but that'll be next episode. We're going to finish this one up in Tucson and then land a little bit north of Tucson at Marana Regional Airport. Alright, so we've reached the outskirts of Tucson, Arizona. See the city off and to the right, and then campus, I believe, is the group of buildings on the left side. I don't know, it'll all come into focus here. My internet, for whatever reason, like a lot of the graphics depend on how well your internet's doing as far as, you know, building up the map out in front of you. And for whatever reason, this day my internet was running a little bit slow, so buildings start popping up as we get closer instead of further away. Alright, Tucson, Arizona, home of the Arizona Wildcats. Really a struggling football program at the moment. They lost, actually, this past season to Northern Arizona, which is unbelievable. But always strong on the basketball side of things. But some controversy there with Sean Miller and all that kind of stuff. So here's Arizona Stadium, home of the Wildcats. See if we can see the Bear Down logos on the field. Can't see them. See the Pac-12 logo though. Arizona Stadium, and now we'll whip around and find the Mchale Center. Head back towards campus. My brother used to live in Tucson. He lived all through that area. He lived in El Paso and Las Cruces and Tucson. Alright, here's the Mchale Center. Right underneath the word Mchale, right there.
500.
Great basketball venue. Tucson's a great college town for sure. And we get one more look at Arizona Stadium. Alright, now we head back north and we'll have this plane down in less than 2 minutes. At least in the video. It took me longer than that. But we'll skip ahead here to our final approach at Marana Regional Airport north of Tucson. Kind of in the boonies. But it'll be a good place to take off from to head to San Diego in our next episode. If I remember right, this was probably my worst landing so far of the series. I think we hit and bounced and came down a little hard. You can see we're still way too high right here. Yeah, terrible landing. Oh my gosh. All over the place. And then we stall, hit and bounce. Oh my gosh. Oh, passengers all have broken necks. Whiplash. That was my worst landing by far of all the episodes I've made, and I'm several ahead of you guys. But that's the worst landing by far. Alright, that's it. Arizona. On our Flight Simulator State and Sports Venue Tours here on Mama's Basement Sports Gaming.